His songs have been streamed over 1 billion times. Give it up for the one and only Seal!
Over the years, he's had some killer hits, selling more than 30 million records worldwide.
When I started making music, or I didn't play guitar at the time, and I was making these demos, and they were interesting.
From global sensation to a life out of the spotlight, what really happened to Seal? With over 30 million records sold worldwide and a voice that defined a generation, he was unstoppable. But today, at 62, his life has taken unexpected turns that have left fans both curious and concerned. Has his health taken a toll? Has fame faded into isolation? And what role does his past play in the man he is today? The truth behind his journey is both heartbreaking and inspiring. Seal's rise to fame was anything but easy. Born Seal Henry Samuel in London, his childhood was filled with struggles. Raised by a foster family for much of his early life, he later reunited with his mother, but their relationship was strained. These hardships shaped his music, filling it with raw emotion. But beyond the voice, there was something else that made Seal stand out: his scars. The deep marks on his face were caused by discoid lupus erythematosus, a condition he developed in his 20s. It's an autoimmune disease that attacks the skin, leaving lasting scars. But instead of hiding them, Seal embraced his appearance, once saying, "Scars are like tattoos with more interesting stories." And his story was just beginning. In the 1990s, Seal became a global icon. With hits like Kiss from a Rose and Crazy, his music dominated the charts, winning Grammys and the hearts of millions. His smooth, soulful voice was unmistakable, and for a time, it seemed like he was on top of the world. But fame doesn't shield anyone from life's hardships. As his career soared, his personal life began to crumble. One of the most public aspects of Seal's life was his high-profile marriage to supermodel Heidi Klum. The two tied the knot in 2005, becoming one of Hollywood's most admired couples. They renewed their vows every year in lavish ceremonies, presenting an image of unshakable love. But behind the scenes, cracks began to form. In 2012, after 7 years, they shocked the world by announcing their divorce. The reason? Irreconcilable differences. For Seal, the separation was painful, especially as he navigated fatherhood under a new reality. He and Heidi share 4 children, 3 biological and 1 whom Seal adopted. Despite their split, he remained deeply committed to being a father, though co-parenting with Heidi wasn't always easy. Since his divorce, Seal has kept his personal life mostly private. He's been linked to a few women, but none of those relationships lasted. In interviews, he's hinted that marriage may not be in his future again, calling it a flawed concept. But his solitude has raised questions. Why has he stepped back from the spotlight? And is he struggling behind closed doors? Health has been a significant challenge for Seal. Lupus isn't just a skin condition, it can cause fatigue, joint pain, and inflammation. For someone whose career depends on his voice, managing his health has been a lifelong battle. The disease has forced him to make lifestyle changes, and while he rarely speaks about it publicly, the signs are there. His public appearances have become fewer, his performances more selective. Fans have noticed his retreat from the limelight, sparking concern. Is Seal's health worsening, or has he simply chosen a quieter life? Music has always been his refuge, but the industry has changed. In the era of social media and streaming, younger artists thrive by constantly engaging with fans. But Seal never played by those rules. He wasn't interested in chasing trends. His focus was on authenticity. This has made him less visible in recent years, with his last full album released in 2017. While he still performs occasionally, it's clear he's no longer chasing the fame that once defined his life. Despite his reclusive nature, Seal hasn't completely disappeared. He's dedicated himself to charity work, supporting organizations that help children in need and those focused on healthcare. His own struggles growing up have fueled his passion for giving back. But even with his efforts, he has admitted that he sometimes feels like he hasn't done enough. The weight of his past, his health, and the changing music landscape all seem to have pushed him into a life of quiet reflection. But is Seal truly at peace with this life? Or is there something more beneath the surface? The man who once stood at the peak of global stardom now lives in near anonymity. His voice, his music, and his story remain as powerful as ever. But what comes next? Will he step back into the spotlight? Or will his legacy be one of mystery and distance? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is for sure: Seal's journey is far from over. Seal's journey has been anything but ordinary. Once dominating the stage with his soulful voice and powerful presence, the singer now finds solace in a much quieter existence. But why the sudden retreat? What's really happening behind the scenes? Fans have long speculated about his absence, with whispers of health struggles, personal regrets, and an industry that has evolved beyond him. Yet, despite the distance, Seal's name still commands respect. But the question remains: will he ever return to the spotlight, or is this the final chapter of his career? Behind the scenes, Seal's life has been a delicate balancing act. As a father, he cherishes the moments spent with his children, choosing family over fame. Yet co-parenting with Heidi Klum hasn't always been smooth. Their worlds are vastly different. Heidi thrives in the spotlight, juggling TV shows, fashion ventures, and public appearances, while Seal prefers a life of quiet introspection. In interviews, he's admitted that being a single father isn't easy, but for him, nothing matters more than his kids. If you're a team, it's easy. If you're not, everything falls apart, he once said. But has the challenge of co-parenting taken an emotional toll? And could this be another reason he's stayed away from the public eye? While he may not be making headlines every day, Seal hasn't completely stepped away from music. However, his relationship with his career has changed. The industry today moves at lightning speed, with social media dictating success, and Seal has never been one to play that game. His last major project, Standards, was a heartfelt tribute to classic songs rather than a reinvention of his sound. Since then, new releases have been few and far between. For a man whose voice once ruled the airwaves, the silence is deafening. Fans can't help but wonder, has he lost the passion, or is there something deeper holding him back? Then there's his ongoing battle with lupus, an autoimmune disease that has affected his health for years. It's a fight he rarely discusses publicly, but those close to him say the impact is undeniable. Lupus doesn't just leave physical scars, it drains energy, affects mobility, and forces even the strongest to slow down. Fans who have attended his recent performances say he still gives his all, but there's a noticeable difference. The once effortless power now comes with visible strain. Could his health struggles be another reason he's stepped back, choosing self-preservation over the grueling demands of touring? Financial speculation has also followed Seal in recent years. While he once enjoyed massive success, the music industry has changed drastically. Touring is a major source of income for artists, but the pandemic put a halt to live performances, leaving many musicians financially vulnerable. Though there's no confirmed evidence that Seal is struggling, his reduced public presence and fewer projects have raised questions. Has he quietly been dealing with setbacks, or is he simply prioritizing peace over profit? But perhaps the biggest mystery surrounding Seal is his personal life. Unlike many celebrities, he's managed to keep his romantic relationships private, leading to endless speculation. Is he choosing solitude, or has love taken a backseat to personal healing? For someone who once sang about deep, passionate love, his lack of public romance has only fueled curiosity. What's really going on behind closed doors? Despite all the uncertainties, one thing is clear: Seal's legacy remains untouchable. "Kiss from a Rose" still echoes through time, reminding fans of the voice that once captivated the world. While he may not seek the spotlight, his music continues to speak for him. The question is, will he ever return for one last encore? Or has he already given the world his final bow? So, what do you think? Is Seal planning a comeback? Or is this quiet chapter the one he's chosen to embrace? Let us know in the comments below. And before you go, check out the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.